It is June 2014. Here's my 2 cents review on Chinatown, which came out in 1974, 40 years later. You watched the film today, like I just watched it this afternoon. And the amazing thing about this film is that I think it's better. I remember watching this film about 15 years ago for the first time, and I thought it was kind of spectacular. I love kind of the mystery, and the intrigue, plus the heart of the Faye Dunaway character, the Evelyn character, who seems to be doing everything for all the right reasons, while everybody else in the film has kind of an ulterior motive or kind of sketchy kind of boundaries. And it's a film that's very relevant today in 2014 because really it's a film about politics and water and corruption, and how this true story of the 1930s, which is set in what basically took place, about how certain politicians and business leaders corrupted the common man in terms of where the water was going and how valuable water was in that day, and how valuable water was even tonight. Like now, everybody talks about oil and all that kind of things, but we need water to survive, and water is very important. So Robert Towne's script is very profound in nature, where it kind of stands the test of time in terms of the thematics and the feelings that as human beings we go through on a daily basis. Like some films are ahead of its time, where we're basically just like kind of getting to the cusp of what the emotions are in that film. Some of them are just like dated, like a lot of the films today, where we've already kind of gone through these kind of themes and emotions. We don't need to go through them again. We get it. The obvious is obvious. But there's some films that are classic, which makes film so great and so brilliant that kind of when everything kind of holds together, it works, is a film like Chinatown. And because it's just the script, like I was talking about Robert Towne's script, but Polanski, who's documented, was going through a very dark time with his wife and the Sharon Tate murders, kind of looked at Los Angeles and this kind of film noir style in a kind of dark tone, and he gave it the ending he says it needed, where the father, where the evil man, played by John Huston, who's generally a director. In another tidbit, just a side note, the other bad guy, the other heavy, is played by Roman Polanski himself. So the two directors are kind of playing the heavies in this movie, where they give him the ending, they give him the victory in the end, where basically it's the classic line where it's like, forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown, meaning that the less you do probably is for the best. The more you try to get involved, the more harm it causes in the end. And that's really the theme of this film, where the less you do in some instances is probably for the best in the long run. And he just makes a brilliant film. And Nicholson, with the whole metaphor of like him, like, a detective sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, the whole metaphor of like halfway through the film of him getting his nose cut and he wears the bandages throughout the film. You just kind of remember that Nicholson is kind of a brilliant actor, and he kind of drives this story all the way forward. There's really not a fault in this movie. If you go on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm just looking at right now, which is kind of interesting because it has a 98% approval rating, which is like, you never see that. Like, you never really see a movie that has that high of an approval rating, but it has a 98% approval rating. Gene Siskel, the late Gene Siskel, basically is the critic who gave it the Rotten Tomato. Basically saying, as much as I admire the work of Polanski and Nicholson, I found Chinatown tedious from beginning to just before the end. Gene Siskel probably died of a brain. Oh, he did die of a brain tumor, because he probably had a brain tumor when he fucking made that idiotic review. Sorry, that's my 2 cents. Hate to be judgmental. To finish it off, Chinatown is a brilliant film.